You're showing up, you're creating, you're healing, you're doing all the things, but you still feel like you can't break through this glass, this invisible glass ceiling. And you're like, what is going on? We're going to talk about that today. How to expand your capacity by breaking free from your self-imposed limitations. I am Beyond Taylor, and I am here to help you go beyond your self-imposed limitations. I am a creative embodiment coach, and I assist women in blowing up their income and impact by unlocking the creativity codes. So what we're going to be talking about today is breaking free from those limitations that have been imposed on you. That I like to say self-imposed limitations because they are just bound by you, but you didn't put the limitations on yourself. Well, I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, you did, right? You love this game. Let me tell you, you love this game that you're playing. And I feel like the quicker you accept that, the easier it'll become to start to move through a lot of the energetics that we are talking about. You have to accept that on a level, you love all of this, not the you've been taking yourself to be, but the I am, the true you, right? So let's just go ahead and get started. I got the bullet points here. I wrote it a little smaller this time just so I can have more real estate when it comes to writing. So strategy versus frequency. We're going to talk about the gatekeeper, which you should know what that is by now. And then we're going to talk about the Beyond Self ritual. We're going to just go into this again. I'm going to keep going into this because this is going to change your life. When you start to practice this daily, not only when there's resistance or a block, but every single day, this is going to change your life. So let me just tell you, you're not lazy. You're not whatever it is that you think you're not. Place it here, blank, fill in the blank. I'm not this, you're not. That has nothing to do with it. It's simply because you have a capacity problem. So what we're going to talk about is expanding your capacity to receive more of what you're calling in, whether that's more clients, more money, more love, more, whatever it is that you desire. That is the path that you are on. You are the universe. The universe is forever expanding. So you are expanding with it. What we want to start doing is to meet the contractions with the expansion. I understand they're just a part of the flow of life, but let's just get right into it. So the first one, strategy versus frequency. You've been doing all the things to get you here, right? Break free. This is how we're going to break free. So strategy versus frequency. I don't know why I put a 1, but you're being consistent. I don't really want to put a 1. You're consistent. You're intentional. You are being brave. You're being expressive. You're already doing these things. So it's not about having a strategy, because whatever people will tell you to do, you've already been doing it. You posted daily? I'm sure you posted daily. You're talking about your offers. You're being intentional. You probably even got a content plan. I'm sure you do. I know you. You like that for real. So I already know. You got a content plan. You're being brave. You're doing it. You're showing up. You're being expressive. But it still feels like you're hitting this limit. Your followers don't seem to be budging. Your income doesn't seem to be budging. You just don't feel like you're having a good time right now. And you're like, okay, if this is what it is, then maybe I need to rethink, what I'm doing. And no, it has nothing to do with rethinking what you're doing. It has nothing to do with your strategy. You are doing all the things. It's because of the frequency that you are holding, the state that you are frequenting. Remember, we talk about that's all frequency is. Where's my black marker? Here we go. Your frequency. Oh, shit. Your frequency is just the state you visit the most. So let's say you have 2 states. the state of abundance. I'm going to use a smaller marker. Abundance, peace, and joy. And then you have another state. State of fear, lack, and disappointment. You could be, let's just say, for example, you have 10-day, this is just an example, 10-day conscious, not 10-day, Jesus, like 10 conscious balls. And based on, and your attention are these conscious balls. So you have 10 conscious balls. Just stick with me. Right? These are the conscious balls. And what these are actually your attention. And based on where you are placing these balls is going to tell you the state that you visit the most. So every time you have 10 conscious balls, and with this, you are placing it here. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because what does this sound like? Am I enough? Are they going to like this? What if this doesn't work? I feel like this isn't going to work. And then you take a couple of those balls. So let's just say 3. You say, oh man, I feel so good. I feel so blessed. You know, everything works out for me. There's more than enough to go around. I don't have to worry about anything. I know that I'm supported. But then nothing works out for me. Nobody likes my videos. I'm scared of putting this out there. What if nobody buys? What if people laugh at me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where is your frequency then? With your conscious balls, which is just your attention. So where is your frequency? The state you visit the most. It's here. So what does that mean? That means that, and I'm going to keep drawing this because everything is just waves. There is the waves. Everything is just a wave. So because this is where your attention is, this is the state that you are in, this shows up on, it collapses. The wave, it collapses now. And what does it collapse into? It collapses into a particle. And what is a particle? It is the physical. It is the 3D. So your 3D now collapses from the infinite waves. You become fixated on this particular state. All these other states are available though. This state is right here. It's literally right here, right where you are. Let's just imagine this is you. Right where you are. But your attention is fixed, but your attention is collapsed in this one because of where you are placing your attention in lack, in disappointment, in fear. And this is right here. All you got to do is turn your attention there. And you do, but it's just not there long enough. So that doesn't become your frequency. Your frequency is where you are the longest. So we want to take you from the frequency, which in David Hawkins, we're going to talk about David Hawkins' scale. You know, it's like force. He has this book called Power versus Force. And force is anything below 200, the 200 like frequency scale, the energetic levels that he determined. And what that is like fear, pride, lack. And what that looks like, fear, pride, and lack. Let's erase this. Actually, this is why I don't use the eraser. It doesn't like really get it for me. It doesn't clean it the way I want it to be clean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, baby? I love Akeem Ali. Y'all saw that I used him in my thumbnail the other day. It's just something about him. Like, and he's somebody, I would say he really tapping into this. If you don't know who Akeem Ali is, look him up. He's a rapper. But he's somebody who I feel like has definitely, he knows how to tap into the frequency of his, you know, ideal self. And he's doing that right now. So right now, let's say you have been under 200. And I'll put that up. I know last time I said I was and I didn't. What that looks like is fear, pride, lack. And what that can look like is overdoing it. Burnout. This is how burnout occurs. and also hustling, proving, overdoing it, which is the proving, and then just like hustling. This is where we get dangerous hustle from. What we want to do is take you into over 200, which is power. This is force. Right now you've been operating at a very forceful frequency. Now we're going to start operating in power. And what power looks like is courage, love, and peace. So this is magnetism. Jesus. Magnetism. Flow, abundance. Because if you're moving in your creative business from this energy, this is why you're burning out. This is why you are overcompensating. This is why it doesn't feel good. And guess what? Your audience can feel that. Every person that interacts with you can feel your energetic field, even if they don't even know what they're feeling, that's what it is. And over 200, they'll start to feel that too. So you don't have to change what you're doing. You just got to change the state in which you are doing it. That's literally it. So you can get results from here, and you have, and you've done amazing. And I'm really proud of you for what you've built. But now you're like questioning it because you are burnt out, because it's feeling like force. And you like, I know I can flow through this. You absolutely can, through the power, through accessing these different energetic regions. So we're going to talk about how to do that right now. So that's strategy versus frequency. I don't care what you do. Like this is why people, they'll say like, I've made, $50,000 a month in my business. I'm averaging $50,000 a month. I'm averaging $70,000 a month. I can't get over that threshold. What is wrong? What is going on? It's because you think that you have to do more. The same thing that got you there isn't what's going to get you to where you want to go, because it's not working with you anymore on a body level. You're not enjoying it. At first you were enjoying the hustle, which is why it was worth it. But now you're seeing that like, I'm doing more, but nothing's changing, because you got to tap into the frequency. So let's talk about the gatekeeper. Who's the gatekeeper? Who is the gatekeeper? You should already know. Nervous system equals subconscious. Your subconscious is your gatekeeper, but I like to say nervous system because I think that's gonna allow you to equate that with being more embodied, with being more like feeling what's going on inside of you. So you're not scared of success. I promise you, you're not. You just don't have the capacity to hold what you're calling in, because when you were working from that under 200 state, more started feeling like more responsibility. And we'll just stay with that for a minute, where we'll say more equals pressure, because it feels like more responsibility. And maybe you learned this. Like I know for me, when I was a kid, I used to have to watch my younger sibling, and I hated that. So anything that resembled responsibility, my body would run. I didn't know this back then, but that's exactly what it was, because it felt like pressure. And I remember how much I hated to feel that much pressure, and to have that much responsibility. So I never equated being responsible with something positive. It was always something to fear. I'm jumping a bit ahead of myself, but so if your mind is saying, like my mind was saying, let me say this first. Every past rejection, failure, or abandonment, it gets stored in your nervous system. Everything, all of that gets stored because of, like I explained in the last video, about how the brain starts to form connections, those neural connections based on what's coming in from your reality. If it happens enough, right? Repeat it. If it's patterned over and over, if you keep touching this part of your brain, that's like, it's a whole bunch of clusters of neurons that's explaining its behavior. But if that just keeps getting ignited over and over and over and over, it becomes a pattern. And then your nervous system just says, this is our new baseline. This is our spike. And anything that's above or below, we're just going to work to maintain staying here. So Every past rejection, failure, or abandonment, it got stored in your system, especially things with large emotional charges as well. So even if your mind says you are ready for expansion, you are ready for a higher level of income, you are ready for more eyes on your content, you are ready for more seats being filled when you are performing, you are ready for more buyers when it comes to your art that you're selling, your clothing brand, whatever it is that you do. You say that you're ready, you're ready, you're ready, but your body, like I said, is feeling like more pressure equals more responsibility. It could equal burnout, it could equal being misunderstood, losing people, or it could just equal being too much. So that's the invisible ceiling, is the fact that you are saying one thing, I want more. Oh, that marker. No. But your body is saying that's not sustainable. Remember when. And the way that it's saying remember when is through your emotions, through the raw sensations in the body. And if you've never learned how to process them when they show up, like I said, I went into that last time, you go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So the body is saying in order to prevent that from happening, we're just not even going to go there because we already know what's going to happen. And this does not feel good. This is high stress. So we want to avoid this high stress. Even though you're saying you're wanting one more, the body is saying that's not sustainable because it doesn't know how to sit with the high stress. Doesn't know how. Okay. So that becomes the gatekeeper. No matter what you're saying, the body is going to win. When you're tired, what you do? You lay down. When something hurts, what do? You know how to like, oh, this hurts. Let me rub it. You always, when something's in your eye starts watering. When you're hungry, you go eat. When you got to use the bathroom, you go. Your body, it's in this flow. And it's always going to get what it wants. It's always going to get what it wants. You have to figure out how to speak its language so that you can start to consciously get what you want. Because you're already getting it on some level. We won't go there in this video. If you want to go there, comment down below. How am I getting what I want, even though it doesn't look like it? Or something like, tell me more. Just say, tell me more down below, and we'll go into how you are actually getting what you want. Also, check out this book. I'll go get it. Existential Kink. Unmask your shadow and embrace your power. This really is going to allow you to step into your power, that book, because it really explains what I'll be talking about with how you are always getting what you want. You are. So unconsciously, what this could look like is delaying launches on products that you have or services that you want to create, watering down your content, watering down your message, avoiding visibility, even though you say you really want this thing, but you like have all these excuses and it's always something that comes up and it can seem real, but what it really is the manifestation of avoiding the discomfort that you think that the body remembers and it thinks is going to go into this, but you got to just teach yourself that like, no, we have a new way. Underpricing your offers, not because you're not ready, but simply because the body doesn't know how to feel safe. So this is where we're going to go into, well, okay, Taylor, I hear you, but how can I start to be okay with my stress? And really that's what I do. I say I'm a creative embodiment coach that helps women blow up their income and impact, but really what I do is help women learn how to deal with stress. And not in this like, go take a bubble bath, go light some candles, go journal. We do all those things, but really the like learning how to feel your raw sensations and not run. Just sitting with the rawness of it all. As the I am, because you are simply the observer. You are not even what you see anyway. So when you really know that, it becomes much easier to sit with the sensations without running. But it's a practice, and we trickle that in. And if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely book a call down below, and we can see how we can work one-to-one together, one-on-one, or I can recommend you for a program that I think would be of more benefit for you. But either way it goes, I know that you keep watching these videos and you're like, Taylor, I'm ready. I promise I'm ready. But that part of you that feels like, remember last time we invested in something and it didn't work out? Remember? Yeah, I teach you how to like communicate with that in a real way, so it can stop blocking you from the things that you actually want to do, like working with me. Make it bite. But last but not least, we're going to talk about the Beyond Self ritual and how this is what's actually going to help you um, be able to expand your capacity to receive, because yeah, your capacity to receive is like this, like I said before, because you won't allow yourself to feel. Whenever it shows up, you go in. So it's like, okay, this is our capacity, because it's like, okay, this emotion is here. Let's say this is, first of all, you are the board. Let's say you are the board, and then emotion shows up, and because you never learned how to process it, you say, nope. You have a familiar pattern of how to respond to a familiar pattern of keeping it here, like how we talked about before. So then your nervous system records the capacity. It records that and says, this is the baseline. This is all we can handle. This. And that's just because you go in. But with this work, what you're going to start doing is when the stressor appears, whatever that stressor is, the emotion, because you get really familiar on what it feels like in the body, you start to expand. And when you start to expand, you create space. So now, all of a sudden, you have all this space for all the stuff you want to call in. And now you have all this space to like see how you can make choices, how things are differently. And then your nervous system records that as your capacity. So now you don't flinch when this shows up. You can still keep moving. You can still keep doing the things that you want to do. And you're doing it in a much flow-based, free way. And how are we going to do that with the beyond? So what is the beyond? Beyond, I talked about it in my last video. We're going to talk about it again. Breathe. Examine. Yield. Open. And observe. Nurture. And desire. It's really drop into desire, but desire will help you remember it. So when this is coming up, when you are thinking about expanding, when you're thinking about, charging more, raising your prices, posting something a little controversial, different than what you usually post, and then you feel, because you become really familiar with what that feels like through doing this enough, and also just doing this enough, examining it. You're going to breathe, do the 3 deep inhales. You're going to examine, where is this? Get really familiar with what this feels like in the body, so you can know exactly like, oh, this is overwhelm. Oh, this is not resistance. I mean, sure, resistance, but this is tired. This is restlessness. This is anxiety. This is fear. Whatever it is, you start to like notice it. It feels differently in the body, and it doesn't change. It feels like that way all the time, because the body has a very particular way of responding to each of these emotions. You just don't know what they are. So when you start to examine, you start to get really familiar with the sensations, right? Don't go to the stories, just examine. Just be aware. Then you're going to yield. You're going to yield to those sensations. So if it's the overwhelm from having more responsibility, to me, it feels like wanting to like get under a cover and hide away. I don't want to deal with it. That's like literally, I want you to feel into like what that feels like. So maybe it feels like the shoulders are heavy. So like really exaggerating the heaviness of the shoulders, and like maybe even put a cover over you. If you have time, if you don't have time, just like exaggerating and just like putting something like, what does that look like in the body to feel the weight of pressure, to have pressure, like really exaggerate that. And then you're going to open and observe. You don't got to stay with that for long. Just exaggerate it to the point where you're like, oh, I'm feeling this and I'm here. I'm feeling it and I'm not moving. I'm feeling it and I'm expanding instead of contracting. Then you're going to go into open. Just open up all the portals in your body. Expand, and then observe. Just observe as the observer, as the I am, as consciousness, as awareness, as the God that you are. Don't get entangled in it. Just observe it while opening more. and allowing that sensation to just move through you. You are opening your capacity. Your capacity opens. Your capacity opens. And then you nurture. I taught you tap, rock, bounce, sway. If you have time, you can go for a walk. You can do some exercise. But if you don't have time, those are real quick. And then you drop to the desire. What is the desire? The desire is for me to have an audience of whatever that number is for you. And then it's like, okay, how would I be moving if I had that? Who would congratulate me? What would be happening in that moment? And then you go there in imagination real quick. Hear the person congratulating you, feel that, and then you move. You also give that expression too. So the same way you gave the yield to the discomfort, you're going to also yield to your desire. Create the desire within, and then now all of a sudden, you not only expanded your capacity to receive more money, more visibility, more love, but you also went to the point in time where that reality was there and you saw it. So now the brain thinks that it actually happened. So then it gets recorded. So then now you have completely rewired that pattern in your system. You've completely rewired it, because before you would have this reaction, you respond that way. Now you have this reaction. You went through this to teach yourself how to rewire it. So now the more you do this over and over, it becomes a pattern, and then it becomes unconscious. And when it becomes unconscious, it becomes normal. When it becomes normal, it becomes your reality. Okay? That's all I got for you guys. All links are down below for how to work with me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.